Hey guys, subscribe for daily knife content. And if you're shopping for knives and gear, make sure you check out the description of the video you're watching right now for links to some great online retailers. There's also individual links for knives that I personally recommend. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I want to provide a simple explanation about the difference between Damascus steel, Damasteel, and Damacore. Now, there are lots of other, different types of combinations of steel in this family. This is nowhere near all-encompassing, but these, generally speaking, are, the steels that are confusing to people. I see a lot of comments in my own comment section and just in the knife world in general. People confused about what Damascus is, whether or not it's actually different from Damasteel or Damacore, right? Which it definitely is. Absolutely. There's a big difference between this stuff, right? And then how it all performs, right? Relative, each of these steels relative to each other or relative to, modern steels that we, have in the knife world right now, like M390 and Maximate, right? I'm going to, like I said, this is going to be a simple video. This is not going to be a complete scientific breakdown of composition. It's not going to be an all-encompassing history lesson, which, by the way, the original sort of procedure for creating Damascus is apparently lost to time. We have our own way of doing this now. It's not going to be a massive history lesson, right? It's not going to be a huge breakdown of performance or anything like that. No, I'm not a professional, not a metallurgist. I don't make Damascus. I don't go out and use these things in enough circumstances and consistently enough to be able to definitively speak on that. No, I'm not going to do that. I know that this is confusing for new people and for some knife people in general are just like, why are there so many, Damascus knives on eBay and Amazon and other places that are $20, and then I see knives for like 500, 600, 1,000, 5,000, right? I don't understand. Why is there such a price difference with this stuff, right? So I'm going to do this in as straightforward a way as possible. I will, however, be providing some light reading material for those of you who do want additional information. Basically, the information that I'm not going to be cramming into this video, right? That information, composition, right, history, additional information, I'll be providing links down below so that you can dig into that if you want to. If you are a professional, if you are a metallurgist, if you make Damascus, there's not going to be a lot here for you. This is really just designed for people looking to get a simple explanation here. Thanks so much to my generous patrons who are supporting me right now. You can find a link for my Patreon right down in the description. And please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. Thank you to Ryan Leitner and Nick Shabazz for helping clarify a lot of this stuff. And also, if you're looking to pick up some knives made out of Damascus, Damasteel, I'll try to find some for Damacore, but it's rare. I'll provide some links down below for that stuff as well, so you can pick that up if you want to. So what is Damascus? Damascus literally, it's any two, well, in some cases it can be three, but any combination of two steels, generally. You can have high and low carbon steel combination. You can have two high carbon steel combination, right? Medium or whatever, right? They can be more or less stainless. They can be more, that have more or less potential edge retention, better or worse toughness, better or worse, all of that. Because it can be made out of any two steels, right? Generally speaking, this is the Artisan Cutlery Tacet, by the way, in a stainless Damascus. So the combination of the two steels in the Damascus results in, generally speaking, stainless qualities, right? That does not mean it's impervious to corrosion. That means it's generally stainless. But that's why you might see on eBay or Amazon a really inexpensive Damascus knife, right? It's just kind of whatever. It's made out of whatever steel. It's not necessarily designed to be an ultra performer. It's just, it's meant to have that aesthetic of Damascus. What you're seeing here is the pattern. A pattern weld between the two steels. In this case, we have one steel that's not quite as good as resisting corrosion as the other steel. And once this is acid etched, it brings out that discoloration in one of the steels so that the pattern is revealed. Just because it's a little bit more reflective does not mean, you might be thinking, oh, that's a stainless Damascus, so the way to identify that is by its reflectivity. No, that's actually just the finish that was applied before they did the acid etching. Depending on how long you leave it in the acid for the etching, and depending on the composition of the steels, and also depending on whether or not they decide to apply a finish beforehand, Damascus can appear darker, it can appear lighter, right? So don't think just because it's reflective means that it's stainless, right? How Damascus performs, again, depends on what the two steels are. It also largely depends on heat treat and geometry. Absolutely, right? If you use two junker steels that weren't originally designed to yield exceptional performance, then it's not going to perform very well, right? It also might not look as good as some of the beautiful patterns that you might see in. Now, the patterns themselves aren't necessarily exclusive to certain price points, but how good they look, right? It depends on how much work was involved, how labor intensive it was, right? So you pay more money, generally speaking, even though aesthetic beauty is in the eye of the beholder, you pay more money. Generally speaking, the knives are going to perform better. They're going to look better, right? They're just going to look more polished. That's generally the case. You'll see lots of different patterns out there, like your ladder Damascus, your raindrop Damascus, your basket weave Damascus, right? So those are basically that's an aesthetic pattern. It's not like any one pattern is specific to higher or lower performing Damascus. It's just different patterns that some people enjoy, right? So remember, just because you're spending more money on the Damascus does not mean, because a lot of people, they reduce the word performance to edge retention, potential edge retention. So you might be thinking, so Metal Complex, you're saying the more money that I spend on Damascus, the better edge retention it's going to have. No, because remember, some people will actually favor toughness or corrosion resistance over edge retention. It depends on the composition, right? It depends on what the maker was trying to achieve, right? And whether or not it performs better or worse to you depends on what you're going to use it for. I myself don't actually need a steel that has, maximum edge retention, right? I actually prefer steels that are balanced. I like steels like 150, CPM 154, right? So there are Damascus steels out there that the combination of the two steels will result in performance that is similar to CPM 154. You might even have some Damascus out there that performs substantially better in the edge retention department, right? Or worse. And so generally speaking, though, the more money you pay, the higher quality it's going to be. Damascus can be more or less layers. You can have 30-layer Damascus. You can have 1,000-layer Damascus, right? So the idea originally was that the more layers that were added, the finer the end result of the steel, right? The finer it was, the more evenly distributed everything was. So you could get more consistent performance out of the edge. With a lot of modern, even ingot form steels, we have, they're already fairly fine grain structure, so it doesn't necessarily require that tons and tons of layers are added. So just because Damascus has more or less layers doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to perform better or worse. It just depends on what it's made out of. So Damascus does not refer to one specific type of steel. It is literally any combination of two steels. In some cases, you might actually have Damascus that's got three. In this case, this is a form of Damascus where there is a center core of a specific type of steel. I believe this is VG10. This is the Spyderco Delica with a VG10 core. It actually has a jacket of Damascus. So we actually have three different steels here. What's the purpose behind that? Well, the idea is that you can gain, the benefit of the core, and in this type of there's lots of different versions of this as well. You could have a core of CTS XHP or a core of this or that, right? In this case, we have VG10 and we have a jacket. The jacket is designed to add benefits or make up for benefits that are lost in just the original core steel, right? So, if you have a steel as the core that's got really good edge retention, but it's maybe not quite as tough, the jacket can make up for some of that toughness, right? So by combining these steels, sometimes you gain extra benefits that would not be present in one steel, right? But again, this is nearly infinitely varying. There are lots of different forms of each of these, right? So moving on to the stuff that's actually proprietary, because this is non-proprietary. Damasteel is proprietary. It is made by Damasteel. It is always the same thing. So there are not multiple forms of Damasteel. There is just Damasteel, and it is not the same thing as Damascus. It is two different types of steels together, but it's two different powder steels together. So you're already starting out with steels that have, even and fine grain structure, right? The two steels in Damasteel are specifically RWL34, which is essentially CPM 154. It is famously similar in composition to CPM 154 and in performance, right? And then it's combined with PMC 27, which Now, people have more information on this might correct me a little bit, but it is very similar to what would be a powder formed 12C27. PMC27 is powder form, but it's not actually available as a standalone steel. It is only available in combination with RWL34 to create Damasteel. What's the end result of this? It essentially performs like CPM 154, but you gain the benefit of starting off with two powder steels, so everything is already, even, and the grain structure is already evenly distributed, right? Now, personally, you might be wondering, right, if I can get some forms of Damascus that actually have, better edge retention and then, Damasteel, right, and potentially for a little bit less money, right, because Damasteel tends to be expensive. Why would I buy it? Well, again, if you're, putting edge retention, maximum edge retention up on a pedestal above everything else, right, then maybe you don't want Damasteel. But for people like me who really, really love the performance of CPM 154 because it is incredibly well-rounded. It is an absolute joy to use. It's so easy to sharpen. It's stainless, right? It's tough. I love that. And if you also like the aesthetic beauty of Damascus, you can actually have those qualities in Damasteel, right? But specifically, the reason that people are interested and pick up knives in Damasteel is exactly that. It's the combination of a very well-rounded, very good performing steel and the aesthetic beauty of Damascus. And by the way, this can come in many different patterns. That's the only varying factor with Damasteel, are the patterns that it takes, right? It, of course, still needs to be properly heat treated, and the performance will also depend on the geometry of the blade that it's made into. And then moving on here to Damacore. So if you guys remember what I was talking about with this Damascus actually has a core of a specific steel and then has a jacket of Damascus, right? So Damacore is what happens when you have a jacket that is made of Damasteel. So the jacket in this case is the two powder form steels, RWL34 and PMC27. And then the core in this case is something called N11X or N11X, which is extremely similar to Vanex, right? If you're familiar with Vanex, you'll know that that is unbelievably stainless, right? May not actually, is it, this is, obviously I can't have every last little teeny tiny detail exactly right in my head, but I think Vanex essentially cannot corrode, or if it can, it's very unlikely, right? But it's also, Vanex has it's excellent in terms of performance under edge retention, right? So the core is made up of that, and then you gain increased toughness elements from the Damasteel jacket here. And this stuff tends to be almost entirely exclusive to very expensive knives. In this case, we actually have a Herman Slim #1 with Damascus, which is actually titanium Damascus. If you're wondering, that looks really similar because of the patterns. Yeah, it's a titanium Damascus, and because titanium changes color when it's anodized, right? It's got widely varying colors. That's what you're seeing here. Two different types of titanium when it's anodized brings out different colors, right? And that also has wide variances. But anyways, back to Damacore. Yeah, that's essentially what it is. This stuff is not something that you're going to find on a much less expensive production knife. It's something that you're going to see on custom knives. And again, you're getting a certain aesthetic from this. You're getting what you can see here as the jacket. And then I think you can probably see up on the spine, you can actually see the core, right? So you can see the jacket, all the different layers of the Damasteel on either side. And then you can see that N11X core or N11X core. So that's neat. So you gain the performance edge benefits of N11X, or what is similar to Vanex. I don't know if it's exactly the same thing. And then its toughness is increased. And, when I say like toughness is also strength and ductility, right? If you're like going to chop with it, or you shouldn't be prying or chopping with a folding knife, but you do gain those benefits, right? Whether or not that's trivial when we're talking about a folding knife, right? Because the folding knife's weakest point is going to be the pivot, right? People are very interested in gaining, the aesthetic elements and the, hypothetical performance elements out of something like this. And yeah, it will perform really well. So how does it perform relative to CPM? I'm sorry, to Damasteel? Well, there's a Knife Steel Nerds. I'll put it down here. The Knife Steel Nerds article where they talked about the performance of Damasteel and Damacore. Damasteel performs basically exactly the same. I mean, again, depending on heat treatment and the geometry of the blade, exactly the same as CPM 154. Damacore, their estimate, because there are a lot of variables. Again, I'll let you read about all that down in that article. There's a lot of variables. Knife Steel Nerds estimates the Damacore will perform in terms of edge retention about 40 to 80% better than Damasteel. That is literally all the information that I can give you. Some people might be saying, so you're telling me that it doesn't even perform as good as, I'm paying all this money and it doesn't perform as good as, freaking the whatever, Maximum or whatever. Again, you have to remember that edge retention is not the end all be all. There's lots of different elements, right? Lots of different scenarios that somebody might use something like this in or not. I mean, a lot of times, admittedly, knives that are made out of Damasteel or Damacore are going to appeal to the enthusiast and the collector. It's the information about all the different complexities that go into stuff like this that attract people. For people who actually decide to use them, I would imagine, using I have lots of experience using CPM 154 and I love it. So I know that I'd love, despite me not having actually used this, I know that I'd love using it. I have no experience using Damacore, but it sounds like something that I would enjoy using. I'm going to guess that Damacore is probably harder to sharpen than a CPM 154. But because of what I understand about the composition, it's probably not overly difficult for somebody like me who is admittedly still a novice, not a master sharpener, right? But that is essentially the difference, right? So whether or not you value the elements that go into this, right? I mean, because it's interesting. There is definitely more work and more processes involved in Damasteel, right, than your lower level Damascus. Now, there are definitely, some of the more expensive forms of Damascus, you could argue the same amount of time and work go into. They're just different, right? The end result is just different because this is two powder steels and it's very specific. And Damascus can be any two steels, right? Higher or lower quality, more or less stainless, right? And then the form that it takes will have more or less work that goes into it. And it might perform better or worse than Damasteel, right? So Damasteel is going to appeal to people who want two powder steels and a steel that performs like CPM 154. And Damascus can appeal to anybody with varying budgets, with, varying demands from their knife, right? And then your Damacore is, again, I mean, I think largely going to appeal to enthusiasts who like the idea of the performance of N11X or VanX with additional benefits from the jacket of Damasteel, right? That's very difficult to measure. And that wasn't the idea with this video, was to measure exactly, right? Dollar for dollar, exactly what type of performance am I going to get out of each? No, that wasn't the idea. It was just to explain the difference between this stuff. As you can see, we've reached the 18-minute mark, and I hope I've done a good job of explaining what I have so far. But those of you wanting additional information from this video, or you feel like there's stuff that I left out that I should have included, we're already well past the point where my analytics will tell me that the vast majority of people have dropped off. So it's not super beneficial for me to dive into things that would, number one, make the video longer, and number two, would be elements that I don't have professional information on, professional experience with, so I can't speak on that. But in any case, I hope that those of you who are confused about this, right, if you're new to this, I hope that I did provide some clarification and make you feel a little bit more confident if you're interested in picking something like this up. Like I said, there will be links down below for as much of this stuff as I can find, so you can check that out if you want to. And please feel free to read some of the additional information that I've linked down there as well. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.